Has anything ever happened in your life that made you think, huh, that's weird? Like going to message someone and they message you at the exact same time? Or finding your TV remote somewhere you definitely didn't place it?
I am not inside a fusion reactor.
I'm in an airplane bathroom. I'm on top of a hill.
Or even seeing a naturally impossible storm devastatingly tear through your quaint little town. Now that one is certainly strange. The story of Max Caulfield follows just that though, when her life becomes a little bit stranger, okay, maybe a lot stranger, when she discovers her ability to alter time and space. More like life is batshit crazy if you ask me. The game, developed by French company Don't Nod in 2015, is by far one of the most visually and audibly satisfying games to play, with a remarkable soundtrack backing the beautiful art style used to depict one of my favourite story games I have ever played. The characters have memorable and sometimes unusual personalities, but each of them make for a fantastic world to explore and a thrilling storyline to follow, which should go without saying, brings one hell of an emotional rollercoaster, all determined of course by the choices I make. So in this video I'll take you through how my journey through Life is Strange unfolded, whilst delving into some interesting theories and giving my opinion on the game in general. So sit back, grab some snacks, as we dive into the wonderful and whimsical worlds of Life is Strange. Our journey starts with our protagonist Max, waking up, lying in the dirt and drenched in rainwater from a storm overhead, and incredibly confused, we make our way up towards the lighthouse where we get a view of the absolute monstrosity of a tornado that's on its way. Oh my god. It's like the Fortnite storm. Fortunately for Max, she won't actually have to worry about that cyclone headed her way, waking up from what must have been a nightmare in her high school photography class, where people are dropping pens, throwing balls of paper. Hey, that's not nice. Phones are ringing and the teacher is dropping incredible references.
That sure didn't feel like a dream.
Bueller.
Oh my god, he made a I love that reference.
Sick reference though, bro.
Oh, thanks, bud.
Dude, your references are out of control. Everyone knows that.
We take the time to read Max's journal for the only time in this playthrough. It does get updated as we play, but unfortunately, I ain't reading all that. But for now, we get some backstory into how Max moved from Seattle to her current town of Arcadia Bay after she very happily got accepted for a scholarship into Blackwell Academy. She speaks of how she had almost wished to return to Arcadia Bay after previously living there to meet her old childhood friend Chloe, and we learn a bit about some other characters who we'll meet later. Whilst listening to Victoria, who seems to be the bitchy snob of the school, yapping nonsensically to our famous photography teacher Mr. Jefferson to try and impress him, Max decides that taking a selfie is the best use of her time. That everyone's gonna know we're just taking a photo. It's gonna everyone's gonna know you're about.
I believe Max has taken what you kids call a selfie. A dumb word for a wonderful photographic tradition. And Max has a gift.
After failing to answer Jefferson's question about who created the first self-portrait,
I did know, but I kind of forgot.
You either know this or not, Max.
alright,
Is there anybody-
And Victoria corrects us by saying it was Luis de Guerre. The bell finally goes to bring the lesson to an end. We have a quick catch up with our friend Kate, who was the one on the end of a paperball snipe earlier, before being stopped by Mr. Jefferson, who insists we make sure to hand in a submission for the photography contest currently being ran. Declining his invitation to join for now out of fear of losing, we head on out to leave Victoria to keep sucking up to him, heading into the corridor where we get our first taste of what life will be like in Blackwell.
And make sure I don't look like a total loser.
I thought that said lobster. I didn't mean actual taste, beedee. Damn, I must have been hungry. On the way to the bathroom, we put our headphones in and do a bit of exploring, which is the first chance I get to hear the impeccable soundtrack that this game has chosen. Sometimes studios pick absolute bangers of songs for their games that everyone knows, but I love it when they pick songs purely based on the vibes and the environment of the game. My personal favourites are both from the same artist, Sid Matters, and despite being small songs at the time, they capture the atmosphere and Max's personality perfectly. It's been said by a lot of people that the music is such an important part of Life is Strange, being such a valuable accompaniment to the mood and visuals of the story. So it's such a shame you guys can't hear it during my playthrough, but you know a soundtrack from a game is good when your playlist starts looking like an old Tumblr blog. On the way to the bathroom, we notice a bunch of missing persons posters, all for the same girl called Rachel Amber, who happens to have been missing for a few months to no avail. But sorry Rachel, I had Taco Bell for lunch, I really gotta rush. The bathroom. After splashing our face to freshen up, we rip up the photo that we'd prepared for the photo contest without any belief that we could win. But maybe all hope isn't lost, as a beautiful blue butterfly comes flying in straight after, giving us a great opportunity to get a better photo for the contest. Although our special moment is abruptly ended when a guy called Nathan walks in. Wrong bathroom, bro chacho. Nathan seemingly starts losing it with himself in the mirror, trying to reassure himself that he owns the school, since he's the rich kid whose family effectively own half the town, as another girl enters the bathroom too, poorly checking to make sure no one else is in here before demanding cash from Nathan Nathan in regards to some drugs he's been involved with.
I can tell everybody Nathan Prescott is a punk ass who begs like a little girl and talks to himself.
You don't know who the fuck I am or who you're messing
Holy
around
shit.
with.
Where'd you get that? What are you doing? Come on, put that thing down!
Don't ever tell me what to do. I'm so sick of people trying to control me. Nobody would ever even miss your punk ass, would they?
Get that gun away from me, psycho! No!
Holy shit.
Whoa. What the fuck?
Oh, phew. Max wakes up from what must have been another nightmare in her high school photography class, where people are dropping pens, throwing balls of paper, and hey, wait a minute. The realization that Max has had makes her accidentally knock her camera off her desk, but of course, she's able to rewind time to get it fixed, and we get introduced to the main mechanic of the entire game. Our suspicions of time control are proved for definite when Jeffson asks the same question about who first created self-portraits, but of course this time we get it right to shove Victoria's face in the dirt.
The Daguerrean process, invented by a French painter named Louis Daguerre around 1830.
Somebody has been reading as well as posing. Nice work, Max.
Finally, the bell goes, and we're left to rush to the girls' bathroom in an effort to save that girl from Nathan. And much like last time, that blue butterfly comes in, symbolism, followed by Nathan and the girl. But this time, after being able to move a janitor trolley to find a hammer to smash open the fire alarm, we're able to send an alert ringing through the school that allows the girl to escape before Nathan has a chance to shoot her. And just like that, the butterfly effect has begun its course, as we basically enter a completely different timeline. But I love Nathan's nuanced reaction to basically getting caught with a gun on school premises.
Another shitty day.
On the way out to the courtyard, we get stopped by the school security called David, and he is immediately on our ass for not already being outside. Where the fuck did you think I was going, bro? He finds our lack of urgency to suggest we have some sort of guilt, but fortunately, Principal Wells is here to intervene.
Leave Miss Caulfield alone and please turn off that alarm since that's your job.
You weirdo. We have a chat with Principal Wells, who notices the nervous look on our face, so we decide to tell him about how we saw Nathan brandishing the gun in the girls' bathroom, which of course isn't exactly going to be believed entirely since Nathan is supposedly one of Blackwell's most prestigious students, and of course he comes from a highly distinguished, highly wealthy family. Despite it seeming that Principal Wells doesn't believe a single word of what we said, he promises to take a look into the matter before asking us to head outside. We get a great opportunity to explore the school grounds and speak to a bunch of other students to delve into some optional dialogue to explore all the characters better. We have a chat with this guy, Hayden, who mentions something about the Vortex Club, which Nathan and Victoria are co-leaders of. It mostly just seems to be a party group for all the popular kids where they can just get wasted and get their chemical on. I would make fun of you, Hayden, but clearly you're doing something right. Where's Rizzy? We also get a text from a boy called Warren, who seems to be one of Max's best friends at Blackwell, asking her to grab his flash drive full of movies from her room to give back to him in the parking lot later. We also meet Justin and Trevor, the stoner skater duo, who after rewinding time to ensure we get our correct skateboard terminology.
Yo, Justin.
Check out the Max. Come to thrash?
But I'd love to see somebody do a tree flip.
They show us their favorite trick. Oh, I could reverse time and make him not do that. Take a photo of him. A fun addition to Life is Strange, which I really enjoy, is the option to collect a bunch of different photographs while exploring. Some are easy and some just come with a photo prompt straight away, but some require interaction with characters or the environment to unlock the opportunity to snap a pic. So it makes exploring every last thing that worthwhile and doesn't leave every bit of dialogue feeling pointless. We also have a chat with Daniel, who was being bullied earlier by a couple of jocks, complimenting his artwork to cheer him up a bit. All this lovely chit chat is putting me in a real good mood. So of course, that just had to be ruined by this next guy. Evan, I really don't want to talk to him. He's like you know that photo of that like kid with glasses and a scarf, and people are like, he is a millennial. Oh my god, no socks too? Oh my god. Evan, you might be the worst person ever. I'm not speaking to you. We also sign a petition from Miss Grant to stop more security cameras being put up inside the school by David, and finally catch up with Kate, who seemed to be looking a bit down in the dumps.
How did you like class today?
I don't remember. I guess I don't care about much of anything today.
Is there anything...
Max, I'd like to be alone if you don't mind.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
The beginning of this game really is just a bit of a social interaction simulator as we learn all the new characters and figure out who we actually want to be friends with later on, giving us a chance to also speak to the groundskeeper Samuel, who I think is my favourite character.
Hello there.
I don't like you.
You look busy, Samuel.
I'm always up to something.
Oh, yeah.
Today it's sweeping. than painting windows.
We need to head back to our room to get Warren's flash drive, but unlucky for us, the entry to our dorm is blocked by Victoria and her posse, who would rather not move out of our way if they could help it.
The Daguerrean process, sir. You could barely even say that. I guess you got your meds filled. Since you know all the answers, I guess you have to find another way into the dorm. We ain't moving.
I'll just step around you.
Wait. Hold that pose.
Or kick you in the chin. Unfortunately, that's not an option past BD, so we have to take a look around for a way to get her to move. And after noticing that Samuel is heading up a ladder to paint the windows, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Poo! Okay, ignore the poo. Samuel's going up there with a bucket of paint. We reverse time to tamper with the handle of the bucket and also trigger the sprinklers to get Victoria to move right in the way of the falling paint to leave her looking like a victim of a laxative-induced seagull attack.
Samuel is sorry. Wet paint is not good for hair, nope.
Victoria sends her loyal servants, Taylor and Courtney, off to fetch her towels to clean up, and as we approach her, we actually get the chance to choose if we want to comfort or take the piss out of her. I choose to comfort her purely to see what kind of reaction we get, and she actually responds quite nicely, appreciating our compliment of her cashmere coat.
Yeah, water on my cashmere.
Water on my
Do you know how much
cashmere.
this-
She apologizes for blocking us earlier. This game is so 2012. I love it. We finally get inside the girls' dormitories. I'm not creepy, I promise. Spotting a cool reference to The Shining by room 217 and slightly adjusting the whiteboard outside of Kate's room to avoid any further bullying. We finally make it into our room, receiving a concerned text from our mother. Mother? Your principal sent me an email saying that you were told some tall tales about a Blackwell honor student. Is this true? Principal said this was a serious false charge and he's worried you're telling stories. Call me ASAP so we can talk about this. Well, it wasn't a lie. And after making sure to water our plant and exploring our room to find a photo of us and our old friend Chloe, we find a sticky note from a girl called Dana who happened to have borrowed our flash drive. It's obviously never going to be that easy to just go into her room and grab it, with her friend Juliet visibly annoyed at Dana, locking her inside her own room. Turns out Juliet caught Dana sending cheeky inappropriate texts to her boyfriend Zachary, well, only if you count catching her as Victoria telling her about it.
According to Victoria, Dana would do anything to date a quarterback.
According to Victoria.
Quarterback. Something tells
Once
me
Dana
Victoria
admits it, she can go.
is
Straight
lying.
to hell.
In our attempt to sleuth out the truth, god damn BD, you poet, we head into our brand new friend Victoria's room, shuffling her photos into the shape of a thumbs up.
A pattern is emerging.
Penis. And finding vandalized posters of Rachel Amber in her room, and eventually logging onto her laptop to spot an email confirming that Victoria completely made up the fact Dana sexted Juliet's boyfriend. We print off our evidence to convince Juliet to let Dana out of her room, allowing us in to finally get the flash drive. Flash drive, here we go, take.
Must protect my precious so Max never has to chase it down again.
Okay. We can finally head out to find Warren in the parking lot, not before becoming the savior once again when Alyssa gets hit in the head by a football.
Ow! That hurt.
Do I have to rewind? It's kind of funny. I said when we become the savior when Alyssa gets hit in the head by a football. Fine.
Alyssa, move your head. If you insist, Max.
Before we can find Warren to give him his flash drive though, we come across Kate and David just around the corner, with David pressuring her for some unknown reason.
I see everything here at Blackwell. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, and leave me alone.
We get given the chance to step in or take a photo, and with the lack of belief from Principal Wells earlier about Nathan, I'm all about getting evidence. Yeah, take a photo. We got proof.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for nothing, Max.
What the fuck you mean? Am I supposed to intervene? A lot of the decisions we make in this game are kinda different to how other decision-based games play out, with of course the ability to reverse and change our actions being very possible. Although for the most part, I preferred to stick with my initial choice to just make them seem all that more important. So even though Kate was annoyed we didn't step in to help, I still stuck with getting the evidence on David instead. Anyway, we finally head into the parking lot where Warren is waiting for us.
What up, Max? How are you?
Here's your flash. Thanks.
No problem.
Jeez, awkward. He shows us his new car, which means him and Max can go to a drive-in movie theater soon. Nice play, Warren. But our day has been far too weird to just brush off right now. But before we can explain why, Nathan appears to confront us about how we told on him to Principal Wells. We tell him that he honestly just needs to go and get help, but that just seems to push his buttons even more. And when we tell him that we could just call the police, things get even more heated, as Warren's attempt to step in ends up with him on the floor, leaving Nathan to grab Max by the throat.
Nobody tells me what to do. Not my parents, not the principal, or that whore in the bathroom.
Who is this?
Max?
Blue hair.
Chloe?
No way.
What?
You again.
Go! Go! I got this!
Get in, Max!
It turns out the tables have turned, with the girl from the bathroom being our savior this time, and that girl just so happens to be Max's old friend, Chloe. Chloe and Max get a chance to catch up after 5 years of not seeing each other, talking about Blackwell and how Chloe was pretty upset that Max hadn't contacted her the whole time she was away in Seattle. Max finds out that during her confrontation with Nathan, her Polaroid camera ended up getting broken.
Broken? Oh man, are you serial?
Wow, haven't heard that one in a while.
But fortunately, Chloe's stepdad might just have the tool she needs to fix it, so we head on over to her house to get it sorted, arriving promptly and heading into Chloe's room, where we get a better grasp of her personality immediately, with some interesting decorations spanning her room. Chloe asks us to put some music on for her while she lights up some devil's lettuce, and while looking for the music, we get a chance to explore Chloe's character and the pair's old friendship even more, finding old pictures, unbreaking her snow globe, finding her clothes drawer full of clothes she never used to wear, which explains why Max didn't recognize her in the bathroom before, as well as finding a note that suggests that she owes someone thousands of dollars for repairs on her truck, and finally some old photos of her and her dad. After searching for absolutely ages, we finally find Chloe's what are they called? Those circular flat things that play the music? Can someone tell me in the comments? In the box, we also find a photo of what appears to be the missing girl, Rachel Amber, which sparks Chloe to reach over and snatch it out of her hand.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to be nosy. Obviously, she was a good friend.
It's putting it mildly.
She tells us that her and Rachel were basically unstoppable together, and they planned on leaving Arcadia Bay for Los Angeles. But 6 months ago, Rachel just up and vanished, after telling Chloe that she'd apparently found someone who was changing her life, and just like that, she was gone. Well, this is, got a bit awkward. You keep hitting that, Chloe. I'm gonna go and fix my camera. We finally make it down to the garage, and in search for the repair tools, we come across a photo that throws a little bit of a spanner in the works, with David, the creepy security guard, happening to be Chloe's stepdad, who happens to be an ex-military man with an unnecessarily large gun locker. God damn, bro, you work at a school, not ammunition. What's the need for all this? We don't find much more about him while searching the garage though, only finding a map of the school and his locked laptop. And oh, some photos too.
Kate Marsh? Why the hell would he have pictures of her?
What?
Okay, this is getting totally weird.
This is getting super creepy. Any crumbs of trust I still had for David are completely gone now. At least we finally come across some precision tools that can be used to fix our camera, and after some time manipulation to help us reach the tools after they fall off the washing machine, we can head back on upstairs to see if we can get it fixed. But after giving it a long go, we can't seem to put it back together, so Chloe comes over to see if she can help, looking through our photos first and spotting one that she seems to recognize.
Wait, I've seen this before.
No
way. In the bathroom today. You set off the alarm. That's why Nathan raged after you. You hella saved my life.
We tell Chloe what happened when we hella saved her life, conveniently missing out the part where we reversed time to remove a bullet from her side. Anyway, Chloe asks us what we overheard and if we told anyone about the drugs that Nathan and her mentioned, insisting that the only thing we told to Principal Wells was Nathan and his gun. And so she thanks us and even gifts us her dad's old camera, seeing as she never uses it anyway, and we get a super wholesome yet slightly cringy scene where the two start dancing to Chloe's abysmal music that she blasts through her speakers. But thankfully someone else agrees that she needs to turn that shit down.
How many times have I told you to stop blasting that punk shit?
Dude, the music's not even on!
I'm coming up. We need to talk.
Oh, no fucking way. You need to hide now. My stepdad will kill me if he finds you here.
I do my best to find a hiding spot, but apparently hiding under Chloe's bed is more unrealistic than rewinding time, so David ends up storming into the room without us being able to get away. And for some reason, he's furious to see us here, and with a missing gun in his garage and a whole roll of Granddaddy Purple left in Chloe's ashtray, he isn't calming down anytime soon.
It's not my pot. It's from Max.
What? Is this true?
Yeah. My pot.
So you're bringing drugs into my home. You do seem to get around, Max. I'm sick of you losers dragging Chloe down.
What's that mean?
You don't have anything smart to say now, do you?
Chloe eventually steps in to back us up, mentioning how we have a photo of him harassing Kate earlier, and so he reluctantly backs off, but tells us that if he sees us here again, we'll regret it. Ooh, scary. Pick on someone your own size, shortstop.
We totally smacked his punk ass down, Max. He's no match for you and me now. That was an epic win.
Epic win. Cute win.
You win.
With the fear that we might have to smell David's gross breath again if we head downstairs. Ugh, God, tuna salad? We head out the window with Chloe, making a drive to the lighthouse that we'd dreamt of earlier. We get a text from Warren before we can do any exploring, and it seems that we might owe him a huge thanks. The guy took a huge hit for us back in the parking lot. We find Chloe watching over the bay, and we sit down to talk about life. Again, speaking about David, or should I say step dork or step douche. Pick a nickname and stick with it, Chloe. Chloe doesn't see anything necessarily malicious behind all of David's files and photos, instead saying that he just takes his job way too seriously. Chloe gives us a little bit of backstory to how her and Nathan got into the mess that they did, and it turns out that she met him at a bar while he was paying for all the drinks. Chloe knew how rich and under the influence he was all the time and tried to use it against him to get some cash, but in the end he ended up spiking her, and so Chloe tried to use that against him to get some money out of him, although we know it didn't end well for her. She thanks us for being there to save her life, suggesting that it was destiny for us to reunite, and that maybe even Rachel can be found after all this time. Damn, Chloe, that's a really optimistic viewpoint you're starting to take. Hey, isn't this sunset just beautiful? What do you think, Max? We return to the same nightmare that we had at the start, the storm raging on even more viciously than before, although this time a deer leads us up the dirt path towards a newspaper hanging on the edge of the cliff, reading the date to be Friday the 11th of October, just 4 days away from now. So if this is real, that tornado is going to be heading straight for Arcadia Bay in no time. But a hand on the shoulder from Chloe brings us back to the present. But this vision was way too strong to ignore, so we plead with Chloe to believe us for a moment as we go on to tell her exactly what happened earlier, how we can reverse time, and how we saw her die in the bathroom, somehow saving her from Nathan. All we need is her to believe us, but things just keep getting weirder as snow starts to fall on a very warm Arcadia Bay, adding even more confusion to this very odd town, leaving us with a beautiful shot of some of the different characters being backed by an awesome soundtrack. I wish I could include the music so badly. The second episode begins back in Max's dorm room, as we wake up and make our bed before Chloe texts us about getting some breakfast. We water our plant again and grab our shower supplies to go and freshen up for the day ahead, coming across Kate brushing her teeth, so we check in on her to make sure she's okay.
Sorry about yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sorry you didn't do anything to help.
I did!
But you're just like everybody else here.
What? What? I have
honestly
evidence
help,
of him, like, messing with you. We go to the principal, go get it sorted. What?
By the way, Max,
I'm starting to think maybe I should have intervened. I don't know why we haven't handed this photo into the principal already. Anyway, Kate asks us if we can bring her book that we've borrowed back to her room in time for class, and so we get to showering to get ready as quick as possible. But just as we get in, the Victator comes patrolling in with her jester Taylor, immediately badgering Kate about an apparent video of her at Vortex Club.
That video of you clubbing didn't look like homework.
Victoria, that wasn't me.
Oh my god, right.
Don't be shy. I think it's awesome you set a tongue record on video.
Kate runs out of the showers as Victoria goes on to tell Taylor that Nathan hooked Kate up with drugs at the party, and Victoria proceeds to write the link to the video on the bathroom mirror after hating on Max too. As the two supervillains leave the showers, we make sure to wipe away the link that Victoria wrote, as seeing as we didn't step in to help Kate again, we might as well do some good. Anyway, we need to go and return Kate's book, so after heading back to our room, go back and get Kate's book. That's good. Well done, Victoria. It looks like someone didn't take too kindly to us ratting them out to Principal Wells, as I can only imagine Victoria or Nathan was the one to paint threats on my bedroom wall. What can we do to get back at them? Maybe spill more paint? Or maybe text something embarrassing to the whole school from their phone? What do you think, Past BD? Okay, you know what, we're killing Victoria. Wait, no, this isn't that kind of game. Surely that's a bit too far, BD. There's going to be nothing that warrants that. Oh, it was
Even
Nathan.
Chloe told me not to go to the print. Man, this could almost be art if it wasn't so fucking sick and disturbed.
Can we take that to the principal? Like, Nathan is one sick bastard. Anyway, we grab Kate's book and change out of our pajamas, and on our way to Kate's room, we get a lovely anonymous message from we can only assume to be Nathan, ignoring it to go and find Kate. We clear another harassing message on her whiteboard before heading on in, where we get a real glimpse as to what kind of person Kate is. A devout Christian who seems to have a really loving family, although while being at Blackwell, she's struggling to show the happiness that she has with them. It's clear that Kate is having a rough time, no thanks thanks to Victoria and co, not only evidenced by her trash can absolutely full with tissues, but her mirror covered up with fabric. It's heartbreaking to see someone like this, to think that I could have rewinded time to maybe intervene instead, and it certainly doesn't help with that supposed video of her going around that even her parents know about too. We go over to Kate to hand her book back, and she asks us again why we didn't step in when David was in her face, explaining that we wanted evidence to prevent him from just saying, "That didn't happen," if we'd have stepped in instead. She tells us that David thinks that she's part of the Vortex Club, which honestly just sounds like a messed up drug ring, and she talks to us about the video that's being posted. Apparently she went to a Vortex Club party and ended up being filmed making out with a bunch of people, although she has no memory of it.
It doesn't sound like you. I can't see you partying with Victoria.
I didn't.
You have to tell me more than that. What happened at the party?
She was probably
Did you
spiked by
drink?
like Nathan.
I swear to God,
right?
I had one sip of red wine, and then I drank water.
She does remember, however, falling dizzy and feeling sick randomly, which is when Nathan came over and offered to take her to the hospital, but I think you can guess where this is going.
I thought it was a hospital because it was so
God.
white and bright. Somebody was talking to me in a soft voice. I thought it was a doctor until I heard Nathan and felt a sharp sting in my neck.
She tells us that that's the last she remembers, and the day after, she just woke up back in her dorm. We tell her that we're going to figure this all out, and she wants to know exactly what Nathan did that night, asking if we think she should go to the police or not. I remembered earlier Nathan telling us that his family are so rich that the cops would 100% side with him if something happened, and especially since that video of Kate is about, I don't think they'd believe her without any proof of Nathan's wrongdoings. So we tell her that we're going to get some evidence first. Kate doesn't exactly like that idea, but I think it was the right choice. So we let her know she isn't alone in this before heading on out. And so after checking in on Dana and Juliet to talk about an upcoming Halloween party that they absolutely want us to go to, we have a breakfast date planned with Chloe in order to explain to her exactly what we can do with our new powers. Before we head over to the diner though, we have a totally normal catch up with Samuel.
The squirrels always come in the morning for food. I can hear them whisper.
And we have an incredibly loving conversation with Victoria's sidekick Taylor.
Do you mind leaving? Thanks.
Do you mind me kicking your head into that tree or? Before coming across Warren, who'd been waiting to speak to us. We thank him for being our superhero yesterday and taking a hit from Nathan, explaining the reason he was trying to beef with us being because we snitched on him to the principal for having a gun, which apparently his dad didn't take to very kindly either. Before we can continue onwards, Warren also suggests heading to the drive-in movie theatre nearby again to watch one of the old Planet of the Apes movies, which we gladly accept to go to before making our way to the bus to meet up with Chloe. Is that Jefferson? Oh no, that's the that's the millennial guy who I simply blatantly refuse to talk to. I'm not going to speak to him, even if I get the chance on this bus. After another awesome transition scene backed by another great song, we finally arrive at the Two Whales Diner, in which we get a groundbreaking gameplay mechanic in which the game can help you correctly identify different people. Correct. So that's what they are. Okay, thank you. We come across an RV just outside, although a dog on guard duty prevents us from doing any further exploration. But I'm starting to catch on to something pretty creepy. I'm almost certain I came across this exact RV in the school parking lot before too. Something isn't adding up here. Either way, we can't do much about it right now, heading on in to finally get some food. And Chloe isn't even here yet? So much for being on time. We have a quick chat with one of the skater boys, Trevor, who happens to be dating Dana now, and we finally grab a seat to be tended to by Chloe's mum, Joyce, who has been working at this diner for many years already, absolutely ecstatic to see Max back in town again.
You look the same.
Like I'm still a waitress at Two Whales after all these years.
No, like you still look pretty.
Nice save, kid. You're still smart.
Joyce tells us she heard about our pot incident with Chloe from David and insists he's a good man who just wants to make sure he does his job right. Might want to tell him to stop pressing teenage girls like they've just smuggled 7 metric tons of narcotics across the border then. Max apologizes for not calling at all during the 5 years she was away in Seattle, especially since it was a hard time for Chloe and Joyce after the passing of William, their respective husband and father. It sounds like he was a great guy, which explains why Chloe hasn't really been able to move on. Chloe comes in and she sits to talk to us about our superpower, but of course we don't have any explanation for anything that's happened, but Chloe didn't even want one anyway. She just wanted proof. So we tell her that we can accurately list what is precisely in her pockets. Of course it takes her to show us first, and then to rewind a few times to tell her she has 7 cigarettes, a parking ticket issued at 10:34 AM, 86 cents, and her set of keys with a panda robot keychain on it. What do you think now, Chloe?
Amazeballs. I literally just got chills all over my neck.
She's like way cringer than Max. She was saying no emojis, but she says amazeballs and awesome sauce. Chloe isn't done there though, and she wants to see even more of what we can do. So this time we tell her that we can predict the future, allowing time to take its course, for a trucker to drop his cup of coffee on the floor, a policeman have his partner drive off without him, Joyce telling Trevor and Justin to stop fighting, and then the jukebox changing song when a cockroach crawls across it, and so we rewind time to let it all play out.
Oops. Hey, where is my partner?
You called it. But he's off to go bust some skaters.
You're a dick.
Don't slap me, bitch. Take your fight club outside.
You predicted a cockroach on the jukebox?
Honestly, I'm mostly surprised by the fact that Chloe isn't freaked the fuck out. If my friend just showed this kind of thing to me, I'd get them burnt at the stake. This is insanity, and Chloe is just like,
I pledge allegiance to Max and the power for which she stands.
Max shows some concern about using her powers for simple fun, especially when a nosebleed occurs almost out of nowhere, which starts to get me a little worried that maybe there's a limit to how much power she can use at a time. If we keep on using it for pure shits and giggles, what happens if we can't use it at a time where it could be vital? Either way, that doesn't bother Chloe, who's desperate to go and make use of it even more, dragging us along somewhere to make use of our brand new toy. But before we can leave, we get a phone call from Kate, which, kind of annoyingly to me, Chloe is so easy for us to dismiss.
You don't call me once in 5 years and now you're all over some biatch you see every day at school?
We pick up the call anyway.
What's up?
Please, don't let your best friend get in the way.
Okay?
And we don't seem to get a lot of information, not being able to hear what Kate is saying on her end, with us only telling her that we promise we're sorting her situation out, hanging up to go ahead with Chloe to her hangout spot. We arrive at the local junkyard not much later, with Chloe desperate to have some fun. And if fun means stealing a gun from your step douche or step dildo, then we're gonna have a wild time. I'm not sure what our powers have to do with this, but Chloe tasks us to find 5 glass bottles to set up for a shooting range. While looking for the bottles, we come across something which Max finds utterly frightening for some reason.
This is the scariest thing here.
What is it? A t-shirt? Why is that What? Why is that scary? This is scary. What?
Aw, poor thing. They left you here all alone.
Max sees bold, like, dirty, haunted, probably doll. Aww. Sees t-shirt. Your mind is truly intriguing, Max. We find another bottle inside what looks to be a hideout which Chloe and Rachel used to hang out in together, which in addition to some cute memories being had here, we also get some clues about what could have happened to Rachel, specifically a poster for another Vortex Club party, as well as some rather concerning notes being left behind. I'm starting to think Rachel's disappearance is a whole lot more sinister than we'd initially thought. We also get another text from Kate while looking around, with her thanking us for picking up the call and being on her side in the whole situation. We finally find all the beer bottles, having to help Chloe aim by rewinding time to tell her where her bullets end up, as well as helping her pick out some even cooler trick shots to make too.
Hello, what should I shoot?
Oh
I
my
bet you
god,
want to blow
hello,
apart
shut
those
the
old...
fuck up.
Adios, spinning
It's
wheel
gonna,
of
like,
death.
fly down. Okay, barreling down. Whoa.
Uber cool.
Uber cool. But unfortunately, once again, it's proving to be the case that using too much power at once isn't doing too good for Max, as her nose starts bleeding again, and a headache brings about the stormy nightmare once more. We wake up a little later in Chloe's lap, and although Chloe shows some concern that we might be doing a bit too much with our power, Max is ready to keep having more fun. So now it's finally our time to take some shots, that is until we get interrupted.
Hey, it's Thelma and Louise.
Who's this?
Or is it Bonnie and Clyde? It's cute that you're playing with guns. Just like me at your age.
We're not anything alike, man.
The guy called Frank ends up being the guy which Chloe owes all that money for a truck, and he is not happy about it, especially when he sees us holding something behind our back. But before he can press us, Chloe notices something really off.
Where did you get that bracelet?
A friend, and it's none of your goddamn business. You're my
Wait,
business now.
That's
and
Rachel's
That's
bracelet.
Rachel's.
Why the fuck are you wearing her bracelet?
Calm yourself, all right? It was a gift.
With Chloe recognizing Rachel's bracelet, she gets on the offensive immediately, which doesn't help her case when Frank pulls out a switchblade and threatens to use it on her, but of course, we're locked and loaded, telling Frank to put his weapon down and leaving us with a tough choice to make. Oh, what the hell? I want to I'm just gonna do this, and whatever I land on happens. Okay, nothing happened. I'm doing it again there.
That is hilarious.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Fortunately for us, it doesn't seem like that choice was as important as I thought, as Frank at least decides to let us off for now, as long as Chloe pays up by Friday, leaving us two unscathed and Chloe incredibly thankful for us standing up for her. As we leave the junkyard for now, because if we weren't going to get tetanus before, we now have an insane, most likely murderer after us. We head off on a walk with Chloe to try and make sense of what the hell has just happened, balancing along the edges of an abandoned railway track. We take a break for Chloe to explain everything about Frank, suggesting he isn't anywhere near as dangerous as he lets on, with him only caring about money, drugs, and his dog, which reveals him as the weirdo RV driver who we keep seeing around. Apparently the only reason Chloe knows Frank is because he's the one who deals her Mary Jane.
Anyway, Frank and I kind of hung out.
Hung out?
Hung out? You don't mean you... no, we didn't have sex. Gross, man.
And we tell Chloe we should at least keep an eye on him in case he tries coming back, and we start talking about Rachel again too. Chloe suggests that us and Rachel are also pretty alike to one another, both being interested in photography and art, as well as being pretty smart academically, as Rachel also happened to go to Blackwell. We tell Chloe that we can't wait to meet her soon, in the hopes of her returning of course, before going off to try and snag a couple more photos. But once again, we're struck with a ringing pain through our head, and even more flashbacks of that huge storm we keep seeing. Only this time we return to the present day pretty quickly, with Chloe yelling out for help as a train is on its way and her leg is stuck in the track. I thought this was an abandoned track. What the hell were we doing lying on it? That's like Peppa Pig going to sleep in an abattoir. We do our best to try and unlodge Chloe's foot from the track, but it's not budging, and of course it won't be as easy as I suggested.
Find something! Free me!
Take your damn boot off. With the train getting even closer now, we need to find a way to free Chloe immediately. Finding a fuse box that needs tools to cut the wires and a lever which Max is apparently unable to shift. We rush around to try and find a way inside the conductor building up top. Oh, look at this perfect photo opportunity. Oh, so, yeah, my bad. Before finally finding a wire cutter and immediately heading back down to the fuse box. No time for brain jokes. Oh, what's that? Where we cut the red wire to unlock the lever to move the track, freeing Chloe in the nick of time. Phew, that was a close one. And we've saved Chloe for what is that now? The 4th time? You really owe us one. We arrive back at school just in time for our next class, but before we get out, Chloe starts to think that maybe our powers are linked to the weird ass storm that we keep seeing, and maybe even that snow that randomly started falling at the end of the last episode. She suggests that maybe what's happening is linked to the chaos theory, or the more commonly known butterfly effect. Usually theorized that even a small single change can have a drastic impact on the future. The fact we've just saved Chloe's life twice, that's gotta have an even bigger impact, right? It's an insanely interesting theory to delve into, and the obvious inspiration behind the story. I mean, the whole term butterfly effect comes from a meteorologist in the 1960s who suggested that a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil could be the trigger of a tornado in Texas. It's crazy to think how absolutely anything could be the cause of something so extreme, and we'd never know because it didn't happen. Anyway, I'm not Tom Scott, nor do I qualify to speak knowledgeably about physics, so let's go set Victoria's room on fire, shall we? That can't change the future that much. Anyway, we head off into school to get to class, having a rather uninspiring chat with Principal Wells about Nathan and the gun incident, as well as mentioning David harassing Kate.
I saw Mr. Madsen hassle Kate Marsh yesterday.
Wait. Do you see a pattern here, Max?
Probably not the same one you see.
It's very easy for you to instantly accuse people of doing terrible things.
We also take the chance to speak to Courtney, one of Victoria's sidekicks, about getting onto a Vortex Club VIP guest list. Maybe if we use some charm or rewind powers, we can convince Courtney to get us in, and we can discover more about what Nathan's up to. So after dismissing Courtney's insult to our fashion sense...
You seem anti-fashion, though. A Vortex Club party has a strict dress code. Do you even have
a dress? We're dressed like a pirate, little bro. We compliment Courtney's clothing and land ourselves on the guest list. We also get a catch up with Warren to help with his science experiment. Nice.
She blinded me with science.
Okay, I'm out of here. Before heading on to get to our photography class. But on the way, we come across possibly the most disturbing thing I have ever seen. Oh god, look at this stupid snow socks. Before we can get into class, we spot Kate talking to Mr. Jefferson in hope of getting some help from him about her situation, but it seems he didn't give her any, as she storms off in tears, and after speaking to Mr. Jefferson about it, he comes out with the most outrageous assumption.
She can't do homework while she's being tormented on a daily basis.
What if Kate brought this on herself? She means well, but maybe she doth protest too much. She seems like
Brought it
she's
on
holding
her.
back
I'd
the
have brought it on
truth.
herself. And once again, when we bring up Nathan in the bathroom, Jefferson is quick to suggest we're making hasty accusations, just like everybody else in this place. He heads off to quickly take a call, leaving us to head into class, ignoring the pitiful rage bait from Nathan and Victoria to take our seat as Jefferson finally returns, starting the class by mentioning Kate, since she's not come to the lesson, talking about how false images can affect people online, but his attempt at inspiration gets cut short with a guy bursting into the room.
See in Monaco.
Yo! Some crazy shit is going down in the girls' dorm!
Everyone rushes out to see what the commotion is, only for us to make our way to the girls' dorm to see a horribly disturbing sight. What is it? Oh my god! Oh my god.
I have to do
What
something
the?
to help. She can't die. She can't.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Come on. Rewind it. We do our best to rewind time again, but this time something isn't right. With our head hurting even more and our nose bleeding more too, unable to rewind any further, with time freezing in its place as we push ourselves towards the building up to the roof exit. We have to be pitch perfect.
What are you doing here, Max? Stop! Don't come near me!
Not now. It won't work. I don't have any power.
The only thing that can save Kate here is us. No rewinds, just saying the right thing to someone who needs to hear it the most. We try to tell Kate that we've been in the same shoes as her before, saying that we have to stand up for ourselves when other people are against us. But Kate retaliates by saying that we should have helped more with David as she takes a step back. We tell her about how we kept erasing the horrible messages on the whiteboard outside her room to her thanks, and we keep pushing to bring Kate with us.
You're my friend, Kate.
I did feel better talking to you on the phone. I always feel like you really listen.
Kate, please trust me. Come stand by me, okay? I can help you now. I know I can.
You do have my back, Max. That's the first time I've felt hopeful in a week.
Good. We all need to have each other's backs. So, I want you to come with me now. Please. You don't have to do this.
We tell her about how much this is gonna hurt the people that love her and how her sisters will feel without her around.
That's Lynn. She's only 10. She does have the best smile ever. I would hate to see her sad.
Then make Lynn happy and step towards me. This isn't the end, Kate. There's no way God doesn't have big plans for you here.
Nice try, Max. But God put me on this road.
Oh, please. I don't know what those proverbs. Can I Google those proverbs real quick? When justice is done, it brings joy to the righteous. Yeah, that one. That's good.
How does that proverb go? When justice is done, it brings joy to the righteous, but terror to the evildoers.
I don't believe in justice, Max.
Oh, please.
I don't believe in anything anymore.
Please. No.
No.
Oh my God. I thought I'd said all the right things, but it seems I didn't do all I could. Maybe I could have picked the right dialogue. Maybe I could have taken more notice of the things in her room or around the school. But now we'll never know. We can't rewind what's just happened. And we return to the principal's office where he says every step needs to be taken correctly here to ensure justice is restored. He blames David for not keeping the roof door locked as the head of security here, blaming Jefferson for not noticing and taking action about Kate's pretty clear mood and behavior, and then questions Nathan about the viral video that went around since he was the host of the Vortex Club party. Although he isn't necessarily wrong, Principal Wells really needs to be taking a hard look at himself too. You're the main man in charge. If you know about all this shit, why is it taking something so drastic for you to start pointing fingers yourself? Anyway, after we choose to blame Nathan for dosing Kate, Principal Wells decides to suspend him for further investigation, dismissing us all to allow for a moment to recollect and have a break from the grilling. We head on out to sit down with Warren to speak our mind, and he is quick to tell us that we did all we could and to not blame ourselves for even a second.
Kate was on that roof for her reasons, not yours.
My hand just reached out.
Stop it. You were the only one with balls enough to run to the roof. You were the only one who cared.
It's really nice of Warren to be a comforting figure after what's just happened, but shit just keeps on getting weirder, as all of a sudden, a completely unforecasted eclipse starts casting a shadow over Arcadia Bay to bring an end to our second episode. Our third episode begins late at night in Max's dorm room, being woken up by a message from Chloe asking us to meet her right now in front of campus. On the way there, we see Kate's plaque by her room, now filled with positive messages, as we light a candle outside her room in memory. Before heading out, we also head into Dana's room, where she sits in guilt, feeling like she might have played a part in Kate's death, fearing that she didn't do enough to stop it. Dana does mention too that she recently saw Victoria sneaking out for some reason, which we'll take note of immediately, heading into her room, which she stupidly left unlocked. We don't find many clues to go off of, except for a photo with an extravagant name.
I'll title this one Portrait de la Assholes.
And another photo where Kate appears completely out of it at the Vortex Club party. We also find an email that Victoria sent to Taylor which suggests she feels some guilt and or remorse following Kate's death. But I'm afraid that's far too little too late, Victoria. A simple email isn't going to make a dent in recovering your shit reputation for that. We make our way out finally, getting a cool snap of a squirrel playing with some fireflies.
Look at the lens and say nut.
What? Take a look at the lens and bust! Before taking a look through our texts, where we find a couple of warming and reassuring messages from Warren and our mother to not be too hard on ourselves after we did our very best to try and save Kate. We also take the chance, while it being night, to take a peek inside Samuel's janitor closet thing, only to find a sparkly scarf and an interesting fashion magazine. Either Victoria or someone has been hanging out in here, or Samuel's hiding something. Whether that be another personality or something creepy, I don't want to find out. Sneaking past the drunk Principal Wells to find Chloe out front. We've got to expect...
Booyah!
Oh, fucking hell!
Get it? Booyah. Like I'm a scary punk ghost.
Shut
like a scary...
We tell Chloe to stop being so insensitive, since we literally just witnessed our friend die right in front of us, and she apologizes for not being able to process anything like that properly. We tell Chloe that we think there's far too much coincidence between the kind of people who were around Rachel and Kate at the time of their disappearance and demise, picking out Nathan primarily, but also perhaps David in holding more clues about the two girls that they might be letting on. And with Chloe fearing that a girl can only be missing for so long until it turns out they're actually dead, we need to move quickly to find those clues out. Fortunately, to help us get these clues, our blue-haired friend has stolen some spare keys from David, so it's time to sneak inside the school to see what Principal Wells might be holding in his office. But before we can even get in, some voices from the school force us into hiding, with Victoria and Mr. Jefferson leaving the building at night. Victoria is thanking Jefferson for helping her with her portfolio, as the two talk about what a difficult day it's been, especially Victoria, apparently.
I'm like still in shock. I've never seen anybody die. I really cared about Katie.
Victoria then goes on to ask about the photo contest, trying her hardest to swing the vote by subtly trying to flirt with Mr. Jefferson.
Just imagine if you picked my photo, though. We would have to spend a lot of time together. That could be fun, don't you think?
To my surprise almost, Jefferson rejects Victoria's approaches and tells her to go back to her dorm. But if he wasn't reciprocating Victoria just now, what were they doing so late in the school by themselves anyway? Something's not adding up here. You don't just help one of your students out in your classroom at night. Anyway, after successfully not being spotted...
So
because you're hiding on the wrong side of the board. We sneak our way inside, and as Chloe tries to get inside Principal Wells' office, we take the chance to quickly see if there's anything suspicious in Jefferson's classroom, although nothing seems out of sorts. So we return to Chloe to see what progress she's made. It turns out David's keys aren't able to get us inside, leaving us to figure out a way in as well. And lucky for us, we have a nerdy science kid in Warren who's able to tell us how to craft a homemade bomb. What? Warren, why do you know this? Anyway, we take his help by finding his listed ingredients and putting them together to leave Principal Wells' office door swinging open. But of course, with an explosion going off, the smoke alarms start firing off too, so we're forced to head inside the office and rewind time to make it that we never blew the thing up in the first place.
If I can get this bastard open, she can't cheat with her rewind.
Welcome to my domain.
Oh, that's so cool. As Chloe sits down at the desk to get busy doing absolutely nothing, we're left to try and find any files which might dig up some dirt on any of the students. We come across Kate's files sat on a side table, and other than showing that Kate was an exemplary student who, despite all her difficulties, still had a perfect attendance, an attached email from the school nurse suggests that the principal knew already that Kate was struggling with her mental health. Well, add that to the list of things he continues to be ignorant of. We then find Nathan's file, which happens to be completely spotless of of course, in addition to Victoria's, which almost mirrors it. Finally, we find Rachel's file, and it suggests that Rachel was also an incredible student, with the highest GPA possible, and comments commending her excellence. And we also see an email from the police department stating that they've concluded their investigation into finding her. Well, we really didn't get a whole lot from these records, except for the fact that Nathan's record is almost definitely fabricated or fraudulent due to constant threats that his father has been making to Principal Wells about ruining Nathan's image, especially in light of the allegation that we made about him. I mean, this is basically confirmed when Chloe happens to come across Nathan's actual files on the principal's computer.
And you know the Prescotts dropped major bank to bury Nathan's real file. Look, it reads like a rap sheet. Bad grades, teacher complaints, secret probation.
Even more concerningly, we come across a hidden file which seems to contain a drawing that Nathan had made, with some psychotic scribbling and the words "Rachel in the dark room" repeated over and over. If that wasn't enough to suggest that not only Nathan has played some role in Rachel's disappearance, but also to suggest that the guy is batshit insane, there's other notes where he states David has been getting in his head.
David M. always asks what's going on in my head. David M. always helps me follow those he follows.
This is all pointing to the fact that the two biggest suspects, Nathan and David, really are together in this whole escapade one way or another, and so the next course of action is to delve deeper into the files that David's keeping in his garage. So after preventing Chloe from stealing the principal's chair on the way out...
But maybe we shouldn't leave without a gift.
No, you are not taking the cozy chair.
Max, do your powers include mind reading? Or did you just rewind because I tried to steal the chair?
We make our way out with some pretty useful information on Nathan, but of course with Chloe around, we aren't going to have the whole school to ourselves without getting up to some proper mischief.
Care for a midnight swim? The Blackwell pool is ours.
Swimming?
Yes,
you want to take that risk now?
It's been a cray week. You didn't let me take that money to pay off Frank, so
Bro, this week has been cray. When we get inside, we choose to enter the girls' locker room because, well, we're a girl, exploring to see if there's any more potential clues left behind in any of the lockers. We find a bus ticket in Kate's locker, suggesting perhaps she planned on running away from Arcadia Bay, like theorized with Rachel, and we obviously have to take a peek inside Victoria's locker.
Jefferson said, "Don't confuse art with the artist." These are cool shots.
That is not a cool shot, that is a terrifying shot. We then rewind to have a chance to look in the boys' locker room too.
Boys, of course.
Figures. Perv.
Where's someone's gonna be mad they lost their vape?
Some poor hipster lost their vape.
I swear to God if it's that fucking millennial. And we also find Nathan's locker, which contains an assortment of medication that's used to treat an array of mental disorders, such as anxiety or schizophrenia. We finally make it out to the pool, switching on the underwater lights, and we finally join Chloe in the pool. The two splash about, having fun, before speaking about Rachel once again. Chloe wishing she was still here, and Max assuring to Chloe that she'll get to join us at some point. The two share a really nice conversation about how Max and her powers have clearly brought the two closer together, and it's like they're almost tied to one another, considering the powers have saved Chloe twice already, with the first time being the whole reason Max found out about him. It's almost like destiny that they've returned to one another. But of course, after getting out, security make their appearance known, coming in from the other side of the pool and forcing us to make a break for the front door, but David's now coming in from there too.
Are you shitting me?
Shite, David. Yeah, go in the locker room, you perv. So we get put into an almost spooky scene where we slowly creep around the lockers to avoid David and his threatening ways.
Who's here? I got a flashlight and a stick.
We manage to evade the dodgy security guard, although another one on watch means we aren't making our way back to the dorm. So instead we run to Chloe's truck to make a break for it back to her home, waking up the morning after and snapping a photo to remember the occasion. Which reminds Chloe to tell us that we should really look at entering the photo contest, which still we refuse to enter out of fear of being rejected. We appreciate her belief in us, but we can't stick around to ponder the future now, needing to head back to Blackwell for class again. But with our clothes still sopping wet with chlorine water, we have to borrow some of Chloe's wardrobe, which isn't exactly our style. But Chloe tells us to stop being so conservative.
Max, you don't have a style yet. At least give it a try. You can afford to take chances whenever and whatever you want to try. For example, I dare you to kiss me.
What?
What?
I double dare you. Kiss me now.
Sure.
Damn, you're hardcore, Max. Now I can text Warren and tell him he doesn't stand a chance.
We choose to rewind that moment to see how Chloe would have reacted if we'd have chosen otherwise.
We'll outfit in my fashion hole.
Wow, fit in my fashion hole.
Time for some...
And we get a pretty funny and unexpected voice line in return.
Sorry, not that easy.
Oh, like I am? Just admit that you already macked on me, then used your rewind.
Anyway, after finally getting changed into what happens to be Rachel's old clothes, now really expressing our inner punk rock.
Ready for the mosh pit, Shaka Bra?
God.
Maybe not. Go on down.
We head downstairs to get some breakfast and speak to Joyce, who reminisces about the time she'd cook us eggs and bacon as a kid, which leads me onto a rather political topic.
Friends since you were Rachel.
Okay. Off topic, right? What is your favorite kind of milk? The other day, I tried drinking this coffee and it had oat milk in it, and it was genuinely the most repulsive thing I think I've ever tasted. Anyway, what's your favorite milk? Drop that in the comments. Anyway, after that utterly ridiculous segment, I am so sorry, Joyce comes over and sits down to show us her photo album with some really nice photos of David.
You make David happy, Joyce.
He wants us all to be happy, Max. He's just not great at showing it.
As well as some old photos of us and Chloe in our childhood that her late husband William took with his instant camera. In fact, it turns out he took that photo right before he went out in his car and had the crash that ended up killing him.
I know, Joyce. I'm sorry.
I didn't show you this to be morbid. In fact, I want you to have this. This was when my baby was so full of life and light. She was hopeful, positive, everything she's not today. And this was the last time I ever saw Chloe truly happy.
Speaking of, Chloe comes on down at the right time to distract Joyce with some pointless teenage bickering, which allows us to sneak off into the garage to take a peek at David's files, and more specifically, his laptop. We go around the garage, finding plenty of mementos and personal items that might potentially hold the password, eventually unlocking the laptop with the date that him and Joyce first met at the Two Whales diner. How sweet, David. On the laptop, we find documents showing how he'd effectively been stalking Rachel before she disappeared, noting how she was missing class and had been spotted meeting up with Frank, as well as being found with controlled substances on the school premises. He'd also been stalking Kate like we'd expected, apparently overhearing her and Dana talk about supplies for the Vortex Club party, and whittling down how she'd spent longer than other students in the bathroom to the fact that she was taking drugs. Really, David? And then finally, he has our entire timetable at school, as well as our online aliases written down. This is grade A stalking at its finest. Why is a school security guard getting involved in out of hours business? This simply isn't going to stand, and as we make our way back into the living room, the man of the hour makes his appearance. David immediately gets on the offensive after seeing us here, questioning why we're cosplaying as Rachel before we start to unload all of the truth bombs that we discovered regarding his investigations into all of the girls. And as Chloe starts to have her turn in ridiculing him, we get an option to side with her or David. Why would I ever side with David? We rip into him for harassing Kate at her blatantly lowest of times, for taking photos of female students and stalking them for his files, and for taking such harsh action against these frankly innocent students, while completely disregarding any thoughts about Nathan being the one who should be being watched. Joyce then joins in at the disgust of David keeping these files, and with his back to the wall, Joyce tells him he's out of the house. Can I leave? This is awkward. See ya. Yeah, let's get out of here. We head out with Chloe to escape that awkward environment, but are quick to mention how one of the photos David had suggested Rachel and Frank could well have been more than friends. Yeah, gross, I know. And although Chloe doesn't believe us, with Frank's RV right there, we could easily quickly get a few more clues just in case. But with his RV door locked, we need to head on into the diner to try and get the keys off of him. You got any ideas how, Chloe?
I'll go to the diner and distract Frank by telling him I have his money, but he needs to come with me. Then you come in and rewind so Frank doesn't see me. Then you can tell Frank he needs to check out his RV, and then you rewind after you get the key, and
Sure, sounds like a plan. We head on in straight over to Frank, immediately spilling his drink all over him in an effort to get his keys.
I just wanted to see what would happen if I did this.
I'm gonna kill you.
Okay, how about his food?
You eat like a pig. Try the floor.
I was eating those beans. Are you fucking insane? I was eating those beans!
I simply have no idea why those were even options, but I'm so glad that they were. Anyway, it looks like we're going to need to do a fair bit of trial and error in different conversations to get some specific details that might help us in getting the keys. Firstly, speaking to the policeman at the counter about Nathan, who also happens to be in the diner, and about his family, and if they happen to have any ties with anybody else in Arcadia Bay. But our conversation gets mildly interrupted.
Mr. Prescott helped out my family once a while ago, so I made a deal.
What the fuck? Get out of the way!
I could get one instant replay in life.
Following this weird cameo from the waitress, Frank then pulls out all of his belongings mid-conversation with the officer.
It is hard to deal with.
Wait, let me find it. Here, judge for yourself.
What? What's happening? And after going to pick up his keys, we can't. It's unfortunately one of quite a few annoying bugs that happen to have made it into the remastered version of the game, which is really a bit of a shame. This game has so much going for it in terms of its mechanics, yet after trying to interact with characters for about 10 minutes, I was forced to reload back to leaving the house with Chloe again to start the scene once more. I don't normally care when there's tiny glitches in a game, like if Frank's dog was to accidentally spawn in with Victoria's face or something, but I'm surprised bugs as big as this make it through to the final cut. It does take away from the immersion completely when it happens. Anyway, we get back to where we were.
I'd take a normal city with normal problems.
Doing it again. This time getting dirt on Nathan's family from the officer, rewinding time and bringing it up again to find out even more, in which the officer tells us that he'd made a deal with the Prescott family where he needed to keep a watch on them, and particularly Nathan, to ensure their safety. After bringing it up with Nathan, he straight up refuses that it occurred, but in his somewhat anger that we'd even bring it up, he accidentally lets slip that Frank also deals him drugs as well as Chloe, and that Frank had also taken a blood oath for Rachel, and when rewinding again to bring that up...
Blood oath? What the fuck? I never told anybody about that freaky shit. Rachel wanted Frank's stash. She let him take pictures, then he carries around her photo like she posed for love. Dumbass.
Finally, with some information, we head over to Frank and ask him about Rachel's photo, leaning into Frank that Rachel's favourite ever photo was the one that he took of her. And after hitting his soft spot, he empties his pockets to show us the picture, allowing us to snatch his keys, rewind the time so he has no idea, and head on out to his RV. Ugh, that was tedious, but at least now we get to see this creep's place firsthand. Not before, of course, saving Alyssa again.
Alyssa, watch out!
Quick thinking, Max.
We distract Frank's dog, named Pompidou, by launching a bone across the parking lot and heading inside, and other than suggestive posters, we don't get a whole lot. Until, of course, we pry open one of the vents to find an old journal containing plenty of photos of Rachel, as well as a very endearing letter from Rachel which thanks Frank for being so kind and patient with her, despite all the weird things going on in her life. That was until we find another letter from Rachel saying how scared she was of Frank when it seems he lashed out at her under the influence of something, and with that being the last thing in the journal, we head over to Chloe to show her what we'd found, but she is far from impressed.
It makes me ill that Rachel posed like this for Frank. I wrote him love letters. I can't believe she was banging Frank. Rachel straight up lied to my face. Why didn't she say anything?
Because she knew how you would react.
And she wasn't much of a friend, huh? Just another person who shits all over me. Why does everybody in my life let me down? My dad gets killed, you bail on me for years. My mother gloms onto stepfucker. Now Rachel betrays me.
Chloe storms out the RV, seemingly overwhelmed by what she's learnt, and is now out for everyone, continuing her pettiness in the journey back, refusing to stop blaming everyone around her, because if she can't blame someone else, she thinks she has to blame herself, and she is really starting to get out of pocket.
You're not the only one in Arcadia Bay with problems. Kate Marsh killed herself, you know?
Yes, Kate Marsh killed herself. She's dead. Such sad, okay?
She tells us that she blames her dad the most, refusing to accept that him leaving that day he was killed was simply just an accident. And it's clear to see that ever since that event occurred, she hasn't been able to clearly comprehend not only his death, but all the other bad things that have happened to her. And so Chloe drops us back off at our dorm without another word, leaving us to mull over things in our room. But when reminiscing about the photo that Joyce gave us on the day of William's death, something even weirder happens once again, as the photo starts jittering in and out, and when our eyes begin to focus more clearly, we snap back to reality. Or so I thought. Oh, here we go.
Someday Dad'll get one of them newfangled computers.
I hope the flash didn't scare you, Max. This is a keeper.
All of a sudden, we've been transported right back to the very moment Chloe's dad took that photo 5 years back in time. And exactly how it played out all that time ago too. Chloe's dad receives a call from Joyce asking to be picked up from the grocery store.
Oh, I didn't know you had to get groceries. Of course I'll come pick you up.
We can't
I have to stop William from taking his car today.
Whoa, that messes with the future way too much. Despite my awareness that what we may be about to do is going to have a drastic impact on the future, and I have no idea how Max isn't expecting an ounce of it, we continue on to find William's car keys and launch them out the window, leaving him to resort to catching the bus instead and saving his life. This couldn't go wrong, could it? The flashback in time ends as we get an overview of all the photographed moments that have been completely erased, including of course William's funeral, Joyce and David marrying, and even now Chloe has been given a brand new truck for her birthday. But as expected, our future has been changed for the worse. I mean, I think now we're friends with Victoria and Nathan.
Hello? Are you even listening, Maxine? All my friends in LA told me that Oregon was
Max.
wet and cold every day.
Never Maxine.
Things are very different, with all the mean girls sucking up to Max, and even Warren is together with someone else. We need to go and find Chloe to see how she is. But even on the way there, David's the bus driver, and now several huge whales have washed up on the shores of Arcadia Bay. Could this get any weirder? I think Max might already be regretting her decision to wind back time. But as long as Chloe's happy again, maybe it's all for the better. Running up to her door with William answering, ecstatic to see us again after leaving for Seattle for 5 years.
Chloe, you have a visitor.
Oh! Oh my god. Our fourth episode begins with a sunset shot showing a row of huge beached whales, with Max slowly strolling along the beach with Chloe, who's looking a little bit different to how we know her. Chloe talks about how glad she is for us to have come and seen her, thankful too for writing letters to us since any of her other friends have come to want to know nothing about her anymore. We take a moment to enjoy the golden hour, and already it's clear that this Chloe is nothing like the one we know and love now, and the thought that she'd be happier with her dad still around is made pretty bluntly false from the beginning.
I don't want anybody else feeling sorry for me. I can do that. Along with my parents.
It turns out that she ended up in an accident when a driver cut her off and she landed in a ditch, with her dad feeling responsible since he was the one who bought her the car for her birthday. She tells us that all she remembers was her back breaking from the collision and then waking up in the hospital, completely unable to feel anything in her body, paralyzed from the neck down.
Jesus. I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything. I'm just happy I did get to see you again. I could have ended up vanishing out of the blue like that girl from Blackwell.
Chloe tells us that we shouldn't feel bad for her, and that us returning is the best thing that's happened in years. Although from what we know, it definitely isn't. Chloe starts to get cold, so asks to head on back home, returning to her hospital room in the house, where she basically has to stay for most of her day, hooked up to a machine to keep her going. She feels deep remorse for her parents, who have to give their all to keep her alive, feeling like a burden that they aren't even able to go on a walk alone without having the worry that something may happen to her, almost feeling like a prisoner in her own body.
Chloe, you're a great daughter. You're kind and sensitive when you don't even have to be.
Trust me, I still get my rage on, especially when a nurse has to watch while I take a dump so she can wipe my bum.
After Chloe asks for some water and the two show they can still share a joke despite the obvious difference in atmosphere.
Oh man, no wonder my throat is dry. I don't think I've talked this much the whole year.
Have you ever thought about doing a podcast or something?
I wish I could punch your face right now.
The two talk about their childhood and about how much they wish they could just go back. Oh, you don't even know, Chloe. It's time to try and lighten the mood, and really make the most of the time we have to hang out with our friend now, since she never seems to get the chance anymore. Switching on a movie and falling asleep in our best friend's lap, waking up the morning after to Chloe joking about how draining it must be to hang out with her. The two continue their light-hearted playfulness from the night before, until Chloe starts struggling with some pain, asking us to head upstairs to grab some morphine, but not until we check our phone to get struck with a reminder of how different our life is in this timeline, with creepily loving text from Victoria, Taylor, and Nathan. And even worse, Chloe is using emojis now. We have a chat with William about Nathan's family.
The Prescott family might be bad news. What do you think about them?
Evil. Next question.
And we learn what a loving and caring father and husband William is, and how much empathy he has for Rachel's family despite Chloe not knowing her at all in this timeline. We assure him that we'll be here for Chloe no matter what, before heading on upstairs to get Chloe's painkillers and bringing them back down, administering it to help her finally relax, and before we sit down, she also asks us to bring over one of her old photo albums.
Stop me if I'm being too emo.
Yes.
But
bring over one
can
of the
you
photo
grab one
albums,
of the
let's
photo
get back out
albums
of here.
over-
We happily oblige and hope that just maybe we can transport ourselves back into the photo from earlier to forget this timeline ever existed. And just like that, we turn the page to find that exact photo. But before we're able to dive in, Chloe breaks the news to us that she had overheard her doctors mentioning that her respiratory system is not improving, and her constant treatment is only delaying the inevitable, and with such she makes an incredibly important request to us. God.
This isn't how I want things to end.
What? What are you saying?
I'm saying that being with you again has been so special. I just wanted to feel like when we were kids running around Arcadia Bay and everything was possible, and you made me feel that way today. I want this time with you to be my last memory.
God.
You understand?
It's a gut-wrenching request for us to hear, no matter how different this Chloe is to the one we truly know, as she continues to plead with us to help her the same way we were there for Kate, no matter what, in her final moments. And for the first time in years, she wants to be able to make a decision for herself, and I guess that's something I can't argue with. And the fact Chloe knew exactly what we needed to do to help her get what she wanted suggests she's been contemplating this for a long time. And so we agree to tamper with her treatment, allowing for her to peacefully go, as we make our way back 5 years through the photo. And of course this time we are helpless in letting William get in his car, leaving Chloe with a message to keep going strong no matter what, and that we'll always have her back, returning again to the present day where we find Chloe as we remember. And it seems like while we were kind of gone, we've got a board set up in order to sort through all the clues we've collected along the way to see what can be pieced together. Before doing that though, we spot a newspaper article which turns out to finally be exposing the Prescott family for their pure desire for making money, with the family apparently trying to build housing on indigenous American land. Well, you never know, once we're done here, there might be even more to uncover about them. First things first though, we still have a locker in the garage that could hold some extra information. Anyway, it seems we won't have any worries about David catching us snooping around in his stuff, as he's on his way out.
You won this battle, Max. You broke up my family. I salute you.
Thank you. And we also check our text to find that Nathan has been anonymously texting our dad with threats, and on the brighter side of things, Courtney, the sidekick of Victoria that put us on the Vortex Club VIP list, wants us to come around to get a makeover. Looks like we're still on to infiltrate the enemy lines. Sergeant Max, ready for duty. Our third time checking out the garage reveals even more information, with a map of the Pan Estates, owned by Nathan's family, suggesting that David had been working for them alongside his job at the school. What a coincidence. We also come across a letter that it seems he'd planned on giving to Joyce, in which he apologizes deeply for overstepping boundaries with his surveillance, but claims it's all for good reason, since he believes Arcadia Bay is under the control of a disease and that the dark times are only going to get worse. Is there a single person in this damn town who isn't insane? Finally, we get to David's locker and correctly input the passcode, where we find another folder, this time with a photo of Kate and a specific time, a huge list of coordinates with times corresponding to them as well, and a few photos of pickup truck registrations. So after taking what we found, we call Chloe downstairs to head on back to campus, in an attempt to try and sneak into Nathan's room to unlock what could well be the final piece of our puzzle. As we get there, we bump into Mr. Jefferson, who meets Chloe for the first time.
And this is my friend Chloe.
Yo.
Chloe?
Yo.
Why isn't somebody as cool as you going to Blackwell?
And he reminds us that today he's going to be announcing the winner of the photo contest at the end of the world party, hoping we'll be there to see the winner despite not entering ourselves. And apparently, Chloe wouldn't miss it for the world.
Hot for teacher.
Gross! You are out of control.
Not yet. Just wait until the rager tonight.
What the hell? Anyway, Chloe decides to go and find Justin, one of the skater boys, as she leaves us to get into Nathan's dorm to, of course, do everything by ourselves again. But before that, we of course do some snooping and exploring, coming across Samuel again, but this time his weird voice lines come across far more meaningful than before.
How can anybody explain all those poor beached whales?
My dad was a fisherman, and he'd take me out to hear the whales sing. Now they just cry.
That's incredibly poetic. And if that wasn't eye-opening enough, Samuel says something that makes me question his character like I never thought I would.
I think it's more than that. Somebody is causing all this to happen.
You think so, Samuel?
You and Arcadia Bay are connected by time and tide.
How do you know?
So, next time I have a question, I'm coming to you.
What? Now that may be pure coincidence, and perhaps his cryptic way of speaking may have just aligned with our secret powers, or does Samuel know what we can do? While playing, I just brushed off that line as Samuel being Samuel, but that was too much of a coincidence, right? And if Samuel does know about our ability to jump between timelines, how much does he know? And how? Anyway, we have a quick chat with Daniel about whether or not he's seen Nathan around, and he tells us about how he saw him leaving campus not too long ago, giving us free reign to explore his dorm room, leaving Chloe on guard duty as we head into the Beast's lair, not before making a slight adjustment to Warren's whiteboard first.
Sometimes you have to take a chance and see what happens.
What do we write? Oh, zing, Max. Goddamn, go on. We choose to apparently not even attempt to see if Nathan's door is unlocked, instead going straight at it with a fire extinguisher before rewinding when we enter, just in case almost bringing the door off of its hinges comes back to bite us. Immediately, we can tell this room is the home of a deeply challenged person who is clearly battling something. On one side, there's a cute memento of an award that his dad gave him as a little kid.
That's so cute and ironic. I can't believe Nathan still has it around.
What a loser. Whereas on the other side, we find a gun manual and emails regarding the upcoming End of the World party, where he plans on keeping the police away to allow for everyone to indulge in his controlled substances without any hassle. We do happen to come across another email, however, from his father, and this time it seems like his dad is piling heaps of pressure onto Nathan to take over the town and to keep on his prescriptions, as the burden of being a Prescott can be difficult to handle. It's almost like we're starting to see both sides of Nathan and potentially what may be causing him to act the way he does. Potentially the real villain is his father, who might just be the puppet master to his malevolent actions, especially when we see how nice his sister is, who just so happens to be living very far away from the family. Despite these new findings, it's still very difficult to find sympathy towards a man who is robbing Kate's altar and taking photos of Chloe that night that caused the bathroom event to happen at the very beginning. Eventually, we come across something actually of use, noticing scrape marks underneath his couch, which when pulled out exposes a second phone that Nathan is clearly hiding for a reason. And so with that, we go to show Chloe our fantastic find.
Boom, Nathan. We got you by the balls, fucker.
What are you doing in my dorm? Max, I got this. Get the fuck out of my face.
Chill, oh, nice, Warren.
You are so fucking dead!
Pull the gun out again, huh?
Get off me, bro!
Let's go! Oh my god! Holy shit, Warren. I did not expect that from you. What a hero. I'm sorry I had to stop the fun. You already got him good enough. Even if I did rewind to see what would happen if I let you continue.
You like to hurt people, huh? Like Max? Like Kate? Like me? Huh? Feel this, motherfucker!
That's brilliant. He's not stopping. Let's go.
Please stop!
We thank Warren again for putting himself on the line like that and tell him we'll call him once we're done investigating.
I'll call you later.
You better. I'm feeling pretty alpha now.
Yes. You are.
And just like that, it looks like Frank is also open for having a meeting with us, under the disguise that Chloe might have just promised him all the money she owes. Something tells me getting any final clues out of him after lying like that might be difficult. Yeah, that's an under-exaggeration. This scene was painful. In an effort to get our final bit of evidence from Frank, we had to nail every single last bit of dialogue to a perfect T. It turns out ironic humor doesn't sit well with Frank, and so joking about already having taken his keys, Frank becomes immediately aggressive, threatening to pull his knife out again, only for Chloe to pull a gun on him and shoot both Frank and his dog. What? All over a little joke? This technically is a successful route to coming across Frank's customer details in hope of finding Nathan's dodgy purchases. But there is no world I'm living in which I'm letting little Pompadour die over a notebook. So for the next 25 minutes, it was like I tried every single dialogue option, including making Chloe leave her gun behind to get Frank's customer book. I mean, the guy somehow picked up the fact that the only way I'd know his dog's name is if I'd broken into his RV, and that apparently meant he had to attack us and Chloe with his knife again. Why is this man so incapable of just holding a normal conversation? Oh my god, this guy. Why does he get ticked off by absolutely everything? It takes a considerable amount of pandering to Frank's tiny brain, and for us to explain that we need his help in order to find Rachel for him to give in. Well, that all better have been worth it. Finally returning to Chloe's room to hopefully bring an end to our detective work. I mean, I'm feeling less like Sherlock Holmes and more like Sherlock Holmes schooled, because I don't have a fucking idea what the hell I'm doing here. With us finally getting to work on linking every clue together, unfortunately doing so like a lobotomized Scooby-Doo. No? I've genuinely got no idea what I'm doing here. Eventually, recognizing Nathan's car from a taped up brake light allows us to get his license plate and correspond it to a set of coordinates from David's list, which gives Chloe the chance to try and find an address that matches those coordinates. Then we connect Nathan's code name to all the deals that occurred under it in Frank's customer book, which allows us to find several interactions between the two, and after entering Nathan's personal unblocking key, we get a hold of Nathan's text history. This then allows us to link the dealing between Frank to text messages from the same times in the same day, which then allows us to link them up to some coordinates to truly find out where Nathan took Kate on the day of the Vortex Club party. And eventually, it all links up to a random barn in the middle of nowhere? How is this possibly right?
Let's keep searching and find out who owns this haunted barn.
Somebody named Harry Aaron
Prescott.
Ah, makes sense. And so without wanting to call the police, seeing as they're basically the Prescott's bitches, we make our way there with only Chloe, and it seems we might have just missed whoever was here, with fresh tire tracks showing someone had just left. We ought to tread very carefully, finding a metal sheet on the side of the barn that can be moved to allow us to climb inside, immediately coming across an old chest of sorts, which happens to contain a bunch of old Prescott family shit about how brilliant they truly are. We leave Chloe to dig through the trash to try and find something a bit more useful, and after digging around in the hay on the floor, we come across a hidden hatch, which apparently looks entirely brand new, and I'm starting to fear we're going to find some messed up lair down here, where Nathan pretends to take his victims to a hospital. We can't seem to budge the lock on the door though, instead attaching a hay lifting hook to the lock and climbing up the barn to find an old motor, which we can attach the rope to, and after pushing it off from the very top, we manage to bust the door to the creepy basement open.
Max Guyver strikes again.
Yeah, you did, Max Guyver. Where are we? Oh, we're back down. Can we open this now? Why can't I interact with anything? I'm very confused. Yeah, it turns out we came across another pretty annoying bug in the game, which happens to be pretty common for some reason. I'm not sure why, but sometimes you can go through the entire process of opening the hatch, and instead of letting you come back down and open it, it'll immediately spawn you back on the ground, and the hatch, despite being unlocked, is just not openable. This time as well, reloading to the last checkpoint doesn't work. Annoyingly, this again takes away from the eerie atmosphere that I just built, but at least it throws us right back in by making us navigate the terrifying Steam menu to verify our game files, and then reload back in, do that all again, and then get the hatch open to reveal a staircase leading to a heavily reinforced door locked with a keycode. But luckily for us, whichever sicko is coming down here all the time has worn away at the number pad, allowing for us to randomly guess a 3-digit pin to get ourselves inside. The place is stocked with canned food, duct tape, and disturbing photographs, just like what we'd seen in Nathan's dorm room. We then find an incredibly incriminating email from Nathan's dad telling him to never call him on his actual phone, instead to use disposables, and that he hasn't set all this up for him to just go and throw it away. And rather unsurprisingly, we find confirmation that Kate had been taken down here by Nathan, and clearly she wasn't the only one. Oh my god. That's a lot of names. There's been like a thing that the whole family's been doing?
Come on.
Of
let's
like
see what this shit
100
is all
years. Not only does Kate have a folder full of pictures, but we also find a folder labelled Victoria, almost even worse, containing no images at all, suggesting that tonight at the end of the world party, Nathan plans on taking her too. But worst of all, when we open the folder labelled Rachel, the situation is even worse, with her photos not being taken in this basement, but rather in a hole in the ground.
Maybe Nathan paid her a shitload of cash to do this. She probably would have.
I don't think so. Why is he putting her in the ground like that? Where?
The junkyard. Max, we have to find that spot now. Then we can see what he did. There's no way she's dead. No way. She posed for those pictures, Max. I know it. Please, let's go.
We immediately rush straight for the junkyard where Chloe recognizes a spot the photo was taken precisely, frantically digging at the ground with her hands as we join in, trying to desperately prove that photo wrong. But unfortunately, not too deep down, we come across a potent smell that only happens to confirm the worst. Rachel has been dead this entire time, and Nathan was the one that put her there. All this time and all that hope, thinking our powers were the key to bringing Rachel back, maybe it was instead fate for us to learn exactly what the Prescotts are and to bring revenge to Arcadia Bay. Anyway, it's time for the end of the world party, and we know exactly what must be done. We need to warn everyone and put a stop to Nathan before anything else goes to shit in this town, and Chloe, for one, is determined to stop Nathan and apparently wants nothing in her way, even when another absolutely insane event is striking Arcadia Bay.
What is that?
Can't be too
Jesus, Chloe, look up at the sky.
What?
Beautiful. I don't give a shit. The world is ending. Cool.
Okay, the snow, the eclipse, the whales getting beached, I can live with that. 2 moons? That's not possible, is it? Chloe couldn't care less though, but has to stop for a moment as Warren comes out to greet us. Apparently absolutely wasted already.
Dude, have you been drinking?
Well, if you consider half a beer drinking.
Let's go, Max.
That's half a beer.
Hey.
Chloe really wants us to move on, but Warren is quite rightly actually fearing the end of the world. I mean, seriously, why is no one actually losing their shit over 2 huge balls of rock in the sky? In his fear, he asks us for a photo for prosperity, and with Chloe as desperate to move on as Aiden Ross from taking accountability for absolutely anything, we tell Warren to keep an eye out for Nathan before heading inside, with Chloe barreling ahead without us. Maybe she's desperate to escape all the copyrighted music that's playing right now too. I'm with you, Chloe. Seriously though, the music choices are really good, and the vibes behind the main one sounds really good when slightly muffled and echoed as if it is actually inside a huge school building. We warn more people to be wary of Nathan if they see him around, before once again having to save Alyssa. I'm not rewinding that was hilarious. I said, once again having to save Alyssa. We make it to the VIP section of the party, only for the girl on guard duty to tell us to go away, saying she's pretty damn certain that Max Caulfield isn't going to be welcome at a Vortex Club party. Well, little did you know, we are a secret agent and have already infiltrated the enemy lines. Heading over to Courtney to snitch on her minion, who makes sure to go and teach her a lesson.
Hey, Sarah, do you know that I personally put Max's name on the list? Oh my god, you're done! And you're off the list permanently.
Yeah, eat shit, Sarah. Bravo 6. Going VIP. We come across Taylor, who refuses to tell us if she has seen Nathan or not, before finding Dana, who is so excited to see us here, but we can't stick around to talk about her skater boyfriend right now, making sure to warn her about Nathan too, before doing a little bit more exploring. Although I kinda wish I didn't. It looks like Nathan isn't hanging around in the VIP area right now, so we take the chance to speak to Victoria, who immediately starts bickering with us and refuses to take any blame for Kate's death. We tell her we don't have any time for this stupid arguing right now, and just because we don't like each other doesn't mean we have to be enemies, quickly warning her of Nathan's plans to kidnap her, after doing the same to Kate. Victoria doesn't believe us, with Nathan basically being her best friend, attributing his dangerousness to his family forcing him to take medicine that just makes him worse. But after we persist, it seems like Victoria might be beginning to trust us, especially since we were so nice to her after the paint splattered on her in the first chapter. Victoria actually goes on to say she thinks we're one of the coolest people in Blackwell, and that maybe her hatred comes from the fact that she's jealous of our lack of care of others' opinions, and agrees that Nathan has been increasingly weird lately, so thanks us and takes note to be careful around him tonight if she comes to see him at any point, telling us to be careful too. Ugh, I might be sick. That was way too nice of Victoria. We find Chloe, and neither of us have spotted Nathan at all, so Chloe's ready to just leave the party straight away to continue the search, but not until bumping into Mr. Jefferson, who too hasn't seen Nathan since earlier that day. He himself can't stick around to talk as he needs to announce the photo contest winner, allowing us to get a move on, but we still end up catching the award ceremony.
Before I do, I want to thank everybody who entered their photograph and everybody who thought about entering. And the winner is, oh my, what a shocker, Victoria Chase.
Oh my god! And I'd like to dedicate this prize to the memory of Kate Marsh.
Okay, don't push it.
She was the real everyday hero of Blackwell. Thank you.
You suck, Victoria!
Finally, we can head on out to try and find Nathan, although Chloe receives a text pretty promptly from the guy himself, saying that there won't be any evidence left after he's done, suggesting he's on his way to the junkyard to get rid of Rachel's body after figuring out that we've uncovered it, which means we need to head there immediately to get there before him, running straight for the spot that we found her in.
Oh god, Max, look. She's still there.
Don't look, Chloe.
Get a photo.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Chloe! Look how.
What the fuck?
What? Oh my god. Oh my god. Is that Jefferson? What? Well, after chasing what we thought was Nathan the entire time, it seems as though we've fallen into the trap of our psychopathic photography teacher waking up in the dark room where we thought Nathan was taking all his victims, only to be completely drugged up and taped to a chair by Mr. Jefferson. We immediately get to work on trying to free ourselves, breaking our right foot out of the duct tape, which clearly wasn't used to keep a fully functioning person in place, as that was a piece of cake to rip out of, and we pull the nearby trolley closer to see a photo of us lying on the ground. Although a terrible moment, with the photo in sight, we're able to focus in on it and travel back to when it was taken, our eyes slowly distinguishing Jefferson kneeling over us, taking photo after photo, and I'm already sick of hearing this freak's voice.
Oh Christ, look at that perfect face.
Ew. He continues to take photos of us, obsessed with the quote-unquote purity of our poses, becoming furious when we even move in the slightest. It's clear this man has some disgusting fantasy and obsession with his photography, wanting to capture the moments of mindlessness for his own fucked up fetish. He talks about how Nathan tried doing the same, as if he was his own apprentice of some kind, but nothing he did could compare to his own work, continuing his creepy photography.
Hey. Nice.
Ew.
Good. Oh, those eyes.
He proceeds to tell us exactly how he knew where we'd be, which I should have guessed was because of surveillance in the darkroom, and then texting Chloe from Nathan's phone.
Chloe. Right. Yeah, I'm sorry that that Nathan killed her in self-defense. Nobody will be surprised. Or care.
With us moving too much for the lunatic to photograph us in his style, he proceeds to leave us for a moment to grab more sedative from his trolley, only for us to kick the trolley back in our struggle, spilling the rest of the medication over his files, causing Jefferson to become even more enraged before giving us the shot, where we eventually return to the present day, but this time with more photos on the trolley, since Jefferson had to take them out of his folder, which we'd spilt on. Unfortunately for us, it looks like we couldn't help Victoria in the end, with our false warnings of Nathan allowing Jefferson to take her too, and it's disturbing seeing someone as vicious as we'd seen Victoria in such a terrified way, reassuring her that we will get us both out safe and that we'll bring Jefferson down. One of the photos happens to show us in a more conscious state, and so we focus in again, returning to a different scene where Jefferson had us taped up to a chair, taking photos from slightly afar, and he begins to explain to us exactly why he does what he has been.
Simply put, I'm obsessed with the idea of capturing that moment innocence evolves into corruption. Most models are cynical. They lose that naivete. However, some Blackwell students carry their hope and optimism with them like an aura, and those lucky few become my models.
We tell him to go to hell for not only killing Chloe earlier, but for hurting everybody else that he did, and we make sure he knows that he isn't in a million years gonna get away with this. But unfortunately, he's already thought that through, hoping to use the mentally unstable Nathan as a cover-up for his crimes, since we already did his work for him in building a convincing opposition for him to Principal Wells.
You used Nathan.
I prefer the term manipulated, like with an image. Nathan's was easy to twist around. I became a sort of father figure for Nathan.
He continues to speak about his victims as though they're simply just his subjects, and when we tell him that Rachel was never his subject, he ends up telling us everything that happened, from the relationship her and Jefferson had.
Rachel was in love with me. That's not my ego, just look at our sessions. Nobody loved having their picture taken more.
All the way to the fact that it was Nathan who ended up killing her by accidentally overdosing her, and the freak has the nerve to call it a tragedy rather than the travesty it actually is. And since Nathan couldn't handle being Jefferson's messed up prodigy, he confirms that Nathan had already been killed and buried, and he'll make sure the same happens to us to prevent anyone finding out about it, before heading over to his computer to check out the photos that he just took. But someone doesn't know as much as he thinks, and we are always one step ahead. Or I guess behind, if we're gonna get technical. Noticing our journal across the room and rewinding to convince the freak to let us see it one more time before he kills us.
Wait! Please, you still have my diary.
Don't worry. Nobody's going to read it. Thanks for reminding me. There's nothing more innocent than a teenager's diary. Oh. Look at your selfies.
What a stupid little man. Handing us the page on exactly the selfie we took at the very start of the game, returning back to the class where Jefferson's dialogue starts to have an entirely new meaning.
I could frame any one of you in a dark corner and capture you in a moment of desperation.
The class goes just as it did before, but this time, as it ends, we track down David's phone number from the school pamphlet, messaging him everything that we know now, telling him exactly where the darkroom is and the man behind it all. We comfort Kate, telling her that no matter what, more people care for her than she can even imagine, and that we'll always continue to have her back, sharing a hug with her, before heading over to Jefferson to do what he wanted us to the entire time, handing in our photo submission for the photo contest.
The first step for any artist is to put themselves out there in the world without fear. To be innocent.
Or guilty.
Maybe both of us will be jet-setting to San Francisco this Friday.
Or maybe only one of us will be going.
Don't be so modest, Max. Anything can happen in a week.
as you're going to find out, Mr. Jefferson.
Just like that, the future has been completely changed, with Chloe never being shot by Nathan and the police arriving at the darkroom, ending in Jefferson and Nathan being arrested and Kate and Chloe staying alive too. The police uncover Rachel's body, and finally we win the photo contest that Jefferson was ever so insistent on us joining. Only this time he won't get us alone as he wanted, as we return to the present day on a plane to San Francisco with Principal Wells as a reward for winning the contest. It seems like everything is finally coming together, and with everything solved for good, we can all finally live happily again. Wait, why is there still 20 minutes left of the video? BD, is there some sort of mistake? Surely this is a good ending, right? We touch down in San Francisco and arrive at the Zeitgeist Gallery, where all the winners of the photo contests held in schools all across America are visiting to see their winning submissions displayed. Principal Wells tells us to go ahead and enjoy our deserved reward while he goes and devours the buffet, and so we go ahead to admire all the photography on show.
Any funny names on here? Strummer. Adrian, explain our strummer.
I said we enjoy some of the delightfully insightful conversations being held about all the art on show.
When I was younger, I did a lot of photography studies. Didn't I tell you about it, Emma? I was quite good at it, actually, but I decided to drop photography to do a real paying job.
As well as receiving plenty of compliments for our photography, as well as even being offered places at specialist schools, with it seeming like life couldn't be getting any better for Max. That is until we head over to our displayed submission, being struck all of a sudden with another painful headache and another vision of the storm destroying Arcadia Bay.
Hey, are you okay? We lost you there for a second.
Your nose.
I'm okay.
Your nose.
Jet lag. High altitude.
This is Brett from Good Mythical Morning.
After our pretty concerning vision, we take a breather in another room, only to have found 6 missed calls from Chloe, and when calling back, our concerns about everything being too good to be true are coming to fruition, with Arcadia Bay actually being attacked by that huge tornado.
Chloe, where are you?
I'm so fucking scared! I'm by the beach!
Chloe! Can you hear me? Hello?
We can't just sit around and let the entire town and everyone inside get wiped out, no matter how much brighter our life may be right now. And so our only option is to head all the way back once more, to try all over again, only this time when returning to the moment we took our winning photo, all it takes for us is to tear up our submission and get Jefferson arrested again. Wait, what? Why are we back here? And why is Jefferson still here too? Our nose starts bleeding from all the time travel, but of course Jefferson doesn't know that, assuming that it was caused from giving us too much of his drug.
Sorry about that, Max. But considering you're about to die, a nosebleed is a first world problem.
Even though I'd normally struggle to feel threatened by this walking, talking bag of shit, the fact we turn to see if Victoria is still with us, only for Jefferson to coldly admit to having already killed her too, our chances are looking incredibly thin, especially since Jefferson inadvertently tells us why we're back in the darkroom.
Your iris, that dilation like a shutter. The pictures you're taking of me now. Too bad you pissed away your gift. You could have won the contest, but you destroyed your own beautiful photograph. What a waste. Sorry, I burned all your stuff. I got a little carried away.
My diary.
Always.
That's why I'm still here.
All of a sudden, despite our powers, it really looks like there's no way out of this at all. No photos to jump through, nowhere near enough energy to rewind days to where this all began. This was truly a helpless moment. With the storm rolling in over the town and no strength to tear through our bindings, this was surely the end of the story.
I promise. This final dose won't hurt.
No, kick his shin or something.
What?
Who is that?
It looks like despite not entering the contest, we still managed to pull through with David getting to the right address, with our unsung hero coming down the stairs and... David? Yeah, I'm starting to realize why David left the army. You cannot fight for shit, David. Fortunately for us, we can still rewind to 10 seconds ago, asking Jefferson for a drink of water before he gives us our final injection, which brings the trolley close enough in range for us to kick it into him with our freed leg to give David some free punches. And when Jefferson runs over to try and grab a gun that he'd been hiding, we pull on the wire of one of his studio lights, which distracts the photo freak enough to give David the first hit and knocking Jefferson out cold with the second. You know what, David? After that performance, I forgive you for everything and regret ever doubting you. Maybe you do know how to fight, and boy can you fight when we need it. David makes sure that we're okay before ensuring Jefferson has a good night's sleep. But still, there's a problem left completely unsolved. Chloe is still dead, and with our entire photo journal being burnt, it looks like there's only one way that we can get her back. Remembering the photo that Warren took with us before the end of the world party, but with no signal down here to get him to send it to us, we have to go out and track him down in that raging storm. But first, David comes over with one very important question.
So, where is Chloe?
David, Chloe is dead.
This isn't happening. It can't. No, God. Not Chloe.
I saw Jefferson kill her in the junkyard last night.
Last night? When I was feeling sorry for myself in my hotel room? I promised Joyce that I would protect her and Chloe. How can I face her and explain this? I never even told Chloe that I...
With complete disbelief and disgust at the death of his stepdaughter, David draws his gun and ends Jefferson on the spot. And this moment was genuinely the closest I've been to tears in this game so far. We'd labelled David as this hateful, self-entitled, and inexplicably out of control guy, who never had the right intent to care for Chloe, never giving her the chance to be loved by him. But in the end, in a timeline where we never gave him the stick that we did, and the difficulties added on to his rational paranoia, we learnt how he truly felt. And the fact that the first thing he asked for was confirmation that Chloe was still okay. She was clearly the main thing on his mind. We head on outside to find that the storm is just as bad as we thought. Just about managing to get through to Warren, where he tells us he's held up at the Two Whales diner with Joyce. And so with little time remaining and the storm not backing down, we rush straight into town to find him, and with everyone around struggling with what seems to be the last day on Earth, we also get an incredibly eye-opening voicemail from someone who we least expected.
Message received yesterday at 9 p.m.
Max, it's Nathan. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I didn't want to hurt Kate or Rachel or I didn't want to hurt anybody. Everybody used me. Mr. Jefferson is coming for me now. All this shit is gonna be over soon. Watch out, Max. He wants to hurt you next.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
It looks like as our story comes to its end, our eyes are being opened incredibly wide, showing that all these people that we've known are just so much more complex than we thought, and this entire development of Nathan's character has so much to unravel. But unravel we cannot, because we have a town to save, arriving on the high street with cars flipped, buildings crushed, and people desperate for help. Although listen guys, if I use my powers too much, I can't use them at all, so I can't risk using up all my energy yet. Oh. No! Millennial guy, no! Oh dear, anyway. The streets are filled with distress, with people already mourning and even more people still trapped by the storm. I mean, we even have to help Alyssa again. Who?
Shit. Alyssa again? How does she always end up in these situations? Can you not deal with it yourself? What do you mean, help you? Just jump.
I said we even have to help Alyssa again.
You know what, screw you, I'm not going up there.
We continue onwards through a broken down building to finally get to the diner, heading in through the back door to see Warren, Joyce, and even Frank still managing to hold up in here, immediately rushing over to Warren to let him know how happy we are to still see him alive, and after returning the gratefulness, Warren wants to know exactly why we've just risked our lives driving into town for a photograph. So we finally explain to Warren how we had this vision from the very beginning, and how we realised we could rewind time after saving Chloe, and we also tell him about Jefferson and everything he'd done.
Max, I'm so sorry you had to go through all that. I'm sorry you got stuck in this. I don't have a fucking clue what's going on, but I have total faith that you'll do the right thing when the time comes. I'm so proud of you, Max. How could there be a more important moment in history?
After Warren's incredibly adorable speech, he hands Max a photo as the pair finally share a kiss, and he wishes Super Max the best of luck, despite knowing that she'll make the right decision in the end, as we focus in on the photo to take us right before the party, having to stop Chloe from going in to tell her everything we've discovered and how she'll die if she does. She straight up refuses to believe us, wanting to go in and take Nathan out, before we tell her that she can't. Nathan is already dead, and it was Jefferson who killed him, and everyone else. Chloe is still insistent on taking him out head on by going inside immediately, and as she doesn't seem to want to listen properly, we tell her everything that we've been through.
Jefferson drugged and kidnapped me. I was tied up in his bunker. You have no idea what hell I went through to get back here. But I couldn't let you die. You brought me back here, and I can't lose you again. I won't.
Max, I'm so sorry. I was the one who dragged you into all this shit. Nobody, especially you, should have to go through that. Now we have to stop Jefferson. With one bullet.
No, not this way. Chloe, I can't keep fixing everything if all I'm gonna do is just break it over and over again.
We can't just go and risk it again by trying to take him out directly. With our time and space corrupting around us, the more and more we try and change, emphasizing the point by finally mentioning how we'd gone back in time to try and save her dad, only for her to end up almost completely paralyzed and in a state we never want to see her in ever again. Everything we've done and everything we've changed has ended up being done to stop Chloe from being hurt. All we need to do is go back home and to tell David about Jefferson. That way we stop any more people from being hurt, although sacrificing Nathan and Kate's lives in the process. There's still time to stop Jefferson without going back any further, and so we head on back to Chloe's and learn that our plans seem to have worked, with Jefferson getting arrested, and we return to the present day, on the beach with the storm dragging ever closer, with the visions we've had suggesting that the lighthouse must offer some safety to us, with it being completely out of the way of the tornado. And Chloe can't even begin to express how grateful she is to have us in her life. Someone willing to travel between realities just to save her life on repeat. So despite the fact we may have caused this treacherous storm, we've done everything in our power to make sure we all, but especially her, make it out alive.
I always wanted my life to be special, an adventure, but not without you. And it didn't happen until I moved back here. So without you, my powers wouldn't even exist.
And for whatever scientific, mystical reason that we'll obviously never figure out, we were meant to be together at this exact moment in history.
Chloe tells us how she imagines Rachel too played a part in this insane conclusion of fate, fighting in spirit to show us the right path to take. But as we make a push for the lighthouse, our head starts ringing once again, falling down and waking up once more back in Jefferson's class. Everything seems to appear to be just as it all began, with everything playing out the exact same as it did originally, only now hundreds of birds start flying into the window, and then everyone's gone? What's happening right now? Fortunately, this is just a nightmare where we recap everything that had happened in the past week, leading to the exact point in time we find ourselves in. The empty classroom has nothing but a pool of blood where Kate once sat, and as we go to leave, Jefferson appears with a slightly different dialogue than before.
I just wanted to know if you'd like to spend the rest of your life in my darkroom. Your purity inspires me so much, and we could be so happy together.
It's about time somebody finally killed Chloe. Think of how often that bitch almost got me killed. It's like you're doing both of us an awesome favor.
What? Our nightmare is starting to clearly reflect all the guilt, doubts, fear and consequences of all our actions. When we leave the classroom, we find ourselves in a dorm with only Kate, who ridicules us for letting her jump off the school roof, and through another door we find ourselves in Rachel's clothes with her posters plastered everywhere, and then another door with Victoria with hateful comments scattered across the walls, and another with all our photos covering the walls. When we go to enter our room, we end up back in the school, but this time everything is backwards, and when we enter the girls' bathroom again, we find ourselves in almost a maze, with the lighthouse in the distance and Jefferson patrolling the corridors. If this combination of scenes is confusing to you, you're not alone. I was pretty lost when it came to this part, but that's the entire point. It's intentional for all of this to represent how fractured Max's mental state has become after experiencing so many events that lead to so many different opportunities and outcomes. We've lost our sense of control, and everything has all of a sudden become so disorientating. This maze section though is incredibly fun, having to stealthily navigate a dreamlike world, escaping the terrifying Jefferson and hiding behind photographs to avoid the daunting eyes of Principal Wells. We then have to avoid Warren patrolling the lockers.
Max, where are you? Max, come out to play. Come out to play.
And although Warren is clearly a loving and great guy, is the reason he's here due to Max's own subconscious feeling the pressures of being wanted so much? We dodge past Jefferson again in the junkyard, as well as Frank, who we clearly have some deep down guilt about.
You have to die. Those were my beans, Max. Those were my fucking beans.
Until finally we sneak past Nathan to reach the lighthouse, taking a seat on the bench for us to only pan out to be a fly on the wall, sitting in the snow globe on Chloe's fireplace to show how deep our guilt still sits about letting William die, despite our chance to stop him, and an array of simply confusing relationships and interactions of Chloe and other characters start shuffling through our mind in the darkroom, until Chloe holds the camera to tell us we are the real Storm, and with a camera flash we're transported into to the Two Whales Diner, where everybody in Arcadia Bay is waiting for us, begging and pleading for us to not let them get taken by the storm, even being berated by ourselves in this dream for letting so much pain and suffering happen just to save Chloe again and again.
Holy shit, are you serial? I'm you, dumbass. Or I'm one of many Maxes you've
This
left
is a serious
behind.
situation.
Can
Let's
you
not
get
be
me
saying, are you serial?
Oh, so you... Wait, let me guess. You fucked up time and space for your precious punk Chloe?
We get taken through one final journey, reliving every moment we'd shared with Chloe over this past week. From the first time we saw each other again, her gifting us her dad's old camera, and of course saving her life multiple times, and to helping her when she was in endless pain. From the happiest moments to the most distressing, we had been with Chloe through absolutely everything this week. All of it coming together to bring us back to this lighthouse with her, and with such a nightmare that was so potent with emotion and such confusing feelings, we finally understand that we were truly the cause of this storm, changing the course of time so much that we actually triggered this storm and every other insane weather event that led up to this. What we thought was us picking the right choices and making good of the past, we had actually just created distress and destruction, all of which seemingly had to happen to save Chloe, which inevitably leaves both Chloe and Max with a single realization, that with the photo we took from the very start, we can go back and let fate take its course, to let Chloe go and get taken as the world intended, leaving us with one last, very difficult choice to make. To sacrifice Chloe for the sake of the town, or to let this storm swallow Arcadia Bay, to live our life with our best friend alongside us.
You are all that matters to me.
I know. You prove that over and over again, even though I don't deserve it. I'm so selfish. Not like my mom. Look what she had to give up and live through. And she did. She deserves so much more than to be killed by a storm in a fucking diner. Chloe! Max, you finally came back to me this week, and you did nothing but show me your love and friendship. You made me smile and laugh like I haven't done in years. Wherever I end up after this, in whatever reality, all those moments between us were real, and they'll always be ours. I know you'll make the right decision.
Chloe, I can't make this choice.
No, Max. You're the only one who can.
What? No matter how important Chloe is to us, I think we've seen enough evidence to show that no matter how much we try and change and tamper with time, fate continues to take control away from us, and that Chloe has to be sacrificed for the sake of the town. I can't let so many people die just for the survival of one person, no matter how important they may be. And so we take a look at the photo that started this all, and let time take control once again.
It's cool, Nathan. Don't stress. You're okay, bro. Just count to 3. Don't be scared. You own this school. If I wanted, I could blow it up. You're the boss. So what do you want?
Where'd you get that? What are you doing? Come on, put that thing down!
Don't ever tell me what to do. I'm so sick of people trying to control me!
You are going to get in hella more trouble for this than drugs.
Nobody would ever even miss your punk ass, would they?
Get that gun away from me, psycho!
We will foresee obstacles.